Right now, in this very moment, something mighty is taking place beyond what your eyes can see. You might not sense it. You might not recognize it. But God is at work. He's moving behind the scenes of your story, arranging circumstances, stirring hearts, and positioning divine opportunities. The storm you feared would break you was never meant to end you. It was meant to prepare you. The delay that frustrated you was not rejection. It was divine timing. And the pain that broke you down was the tool God used to rebuild your faith. My friend, listen closely right now. God is opening the door that will change everything. There are moments in life when we think God has forgotten us, when every door seems locked, when every prayer seems unanswered. But what if I told you that in those quiet, lonely, uncertain hours, God was designing a door you could not yet see? God was crafting an opportunity that would fit only your destiny, one that could not open until you were ready to walk through it. Sometimes God hides the door until your heart is prepared. Sometimes God delays the opening until your faith has matured. Because when God opens a door, it is not a temporary breakthrough. It is a turning point that transforms everything about your life. You have cried. You have waited. You have endured seasons of silence. You've been through betrayal, disappointment, loneliness, and fear. You've watched others move ahead while you remained still. But the reason God kept you in that waiting room was because He was building something inside of you that success could not teach and failure could not destroy. God was teaching you to trust Him beyond feelings, to follow Him without proof, and to love Him even when you didn't understand His ways. That kind of faith, that kind of endurance, is what attracts divine openings. When you reach the point where you say, God, even if you don't open a door, I'll still praise you. That's when the door begins to move. There is a sound in heaven that precedes every breakthrough. The sound of obedience. When you stop fighting the process and start trusting the plan, heaven releases favor that no man can block. The door that God is opening for you right now is not based on who you know, what you have, or what you can do. It's based on divine favor. It's not your RA sum. It's your faith. It's not your connections. It's your submission. When God decides it's time, He will open the right door. And you won't have to beg, push, or force it. It will open naturally, peacefully, powerfully. Because what God ordains, no human can deny. You've spent too long staring at closed doors, trying to figure out why they didn't open. But I came to tell you something. Stop crying over doors that God Himself locked. Not every closed door is rejection. Some are protection, some are redirection. God closed those doors because He saw what was behind them. He saw traps that would have destroyed your peace, people that would have drained your spirit, and distractions that would have delayed your purpose. So thank God for the doors that didn't open, because those were the same doors that would have led to destruction. God never closes one door without preparing a better one. Right now, God is shifting things in your favor. You can't see it, but everything around you is rearranging. The same people who doubted you will watch God promote you. The same places where you were ignored will soon become the ground of your recognition. Because when God decides to open a door, no voice of opposition can close it. The moment God speaks a word of increase, every wall that stood before you must fall. Every chain must break. Every delay must dissolve. It's not by your strength. It's by divine decree. And when God decrees a thing, it shall come to pass. But hear me carefully. Before God opens a door, He tests your posture. Are you humble enough to walk through it without pride? Are you faithful enough to handle the blessing without forgetting the giver? Are you mature enough to carry success without losing your soul? Because if the door opens before you're ready, the blessing can become a burden. That's why God took His time. That's why He let certain things fail. That's why He allowed you to face rejection. He was shaping your heart so that when the door opens, you walk through it not as a desperate soul, but as a prepared vessel. You will not enter this next season empty. You will enter with wisdom, faith, and authority. You see, when God opens a door, it's not just an opportunity, it's an assignment. He doesn't open doors so you can boast. He opens them so you can bless. He doesn't lift you to be seen. He lifts you to serve. Some of you have been asking for open doors, but God wants to know, when He opens it, will you still honor Him? Will you still walk in humility? Will you still give Him glory when the blessings start flowing? Because the true test of faith is not in the waiting, it's in the winning. It's easy to trust God when you need something, but can you still trust Him when you have everything? God is preparing a door that fits your destiny perfectly. It's not like the doors of the world. It won't need manipulation or compromise. You won't have to pretend to be someone else to walk through it. You won't have to sacrifice your integrity to get it. You won't have to chase it. This door will recognize your obedience. This opportunity will locate your anointing. When God opens this door, everything that was confusing will make sense. The pain will have purpose. The silence will have meaning. The wait will have been worth it. Many people lose hope because they can't see what God is doing. But faith was never meant to see. It was meant to believe. When you live by faith, you stop demanding signs and start trusting seasons. You stop asking when and start saying whenever. You stop asking why me and start saying use me. That's the kind of spirit that moves heaven. That's the kind of heart that attracts divine openings. You cannot force God's timing, but you can align your spirit with it. And when your spirit is in alignment with God's will, every locked gate becomes a doorway to destiny. Right now, God is doing something sudden. What took others years will happen for you in months. What seemed impossible will soon be undeniable. That's the nature of divine doors. They open suddenly. One day you're in the shadows, the next day you're in the spotlight. One day you're forgotten, the next day you're favored. That's how God works. Quietly, strategically, then suddenly. God doesn't announce every move. He reveals it when it's ready. So, if you feel forgotten, you're actually being hidden. And when God finishes preparing you, He will reveal you through the door He Himself opens. Some of you have been trying to open doors in your own strength. You've pushed, you've knocked, you've begged, and you've been disappointed. But the door God is opening will not require your frustration. It will require your faith. You won't have to chase it. You'll walk into it. You won't have to compete. You'll be chosen. Because when it's your time, favor speaks louder than effort. When God says yes, even the universe rearranges itself to make it happen. Every obstacle becomes an instrument of His glory. Every delay becomes evidence of His timing. Every setback becomes set up for something greater. Don't look at the door as just an opportunity. Look at it as divine intervention. God is stepping into your story. He's rewriting what the enemy tried to destroy. He's restoring what was stolen. He's breathing life back into what looked dead. You're about to see a turnaround that will silence every doubt. And when it happens, you will know it was not luck, not coincidence, not man. It was God. because only God can open a door that no one even knew existed. Only God can position you in a place you didn't apply for. Only God can lift you to heights that defy logic. The reason the enemy fought you so hard was because he saw what God was about to open for you. That's why the pressure increased. That's why the attacks multiplied. Because before every major door there is a great resistance. The darkness always fights the dawn. But remember this: when opposition rises, promotion is near. When pressure increases, birth is close. The enemy is not fighting your past. He's fighting your future. But he cannot stop what God has ordained. The key has already turned. The hinges have already moved. The door is opening even now. You don't need to see how. You just need to believe that God can. You don't need to understand when. You just need to know that God's timing is perfect. Because when the door opens, it will erase the years of struggle in one divine moment. One call, one encounter, one opportunity. God can change everything in an instant. That's how powerful divine timing is. That's how miraculous God's favor can be. It doesn't take a lifetime for God to bless you. It takes one act of faith, one moment of surrender, one door of destiny. And when it opens, everything shifts. When God begins to open a door, it doesn't just change your location, it changes your identity. You are no longer the person who once begged for things that now flow to you effortlessly. You are no longer the one who was defined by pain, but the one refined by purpose. That's the power of divine timing. God doesn't just open doors to move you into a new season. He opens them to reveal who you've become through the process. The pain was not punishment. It was preparation. The waiting was not wasted. It was the womb of your transformation. Everything you went through was building the strength you now need to walk confidently through what God is placing before you. When God opens a door, it doesn't only bless you, it blesses everyone connected to you. The overflow of God's goodness spills out and touches your family, your friends, and even those who once doubted you. God never blesses in isolation. He blesses to demonstrate His faithfulness to those who are watching. There are people who will come to believe in God because they will see what He has done in your life. The same people who counted you out will have no choice but to acknowledge that only God could have turned your story around the way He did. The door that is opening for you right now is not just personal, it is generational. It is a door that will break curses, shift legacies, and create blessings that outlive your years. But before that door swings wide, there's something you must understand. Every divine door requires divine discernment. Not every opportunity is from God. Not every open door is safe to walk through. Some doors are traps that look like treasures, distractions disguised as blessings. That's why prayer and patience are vital. You must ask God not only for open doors, but for the wisdom to recognize the right one. Because the wrong door at the right time can lead to disaster. But the right door at God's time can change everything. Trust that when it's God's door, you won't have to compromise your peace, your values, or your faith to walk through it. God's doors bring clarity, not confusion. Peace, not pressure. Joy, not anxiety. There is something sacred about the way God moves. He works in silence before He manifests in power. He prepares quietly, then reveals suddenly. And often when God is closest, you feel the most distant. That's because before the door opens, there's a spiritual stillness, a moment where everything seems motionless, where it feels like nothing is happening. But that silence is the sound of heaven arranging things in your favor. The door is being constructed in the unseen. The handle is being placed in your reach. The right people, timing, and circumstances are aligning even now. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean God isn't working. Sometimes the most powerful moves of God are made in absolute stillness. Do not despise the waiting season. Waiting doesn't mean you are forgotten. It means you are being refined. God doesn't open doors prematurely because premature blessings can destroy unprepared hearts. If the door opens before you're ready, it can crush you. But when God knows you are stable enough, faithful enough, and humble enough, He turns that handle with precision. You won't have to chase it. It will meet you at the intersection of faith and readiness. God's timing is never delayed. It's always deliberate. And when He opens the door, everything that once seemed impossible will suddenly become inevitable. You must also understand that when God opens a door, new levels bring new tests. Not every person who celebrated your breakthrough will rejoice in your success. Some will envy. Some will criticize. Some will misunderstand. But do not let that discourage you. God did not open the door for them. He opened it for you. He knew you could handle the weight that comes with the blessing. He trusted your heart to remain pure even when the spotlight gets brighter. That's why He chose you. That's why He waited until now. You've been through too much to let anyone's opinion close what God Himself has opened. Walk boldly. Move forward in faith. Don't apologize for God's favor. This next door is not just about what you will gain, but about what you will leave behind. Every new level requires separation. Some people cannot walk with you into your next season. God will remove what can't handle your elevation. Do not chase those who walk away. Some exits are divine. God is protecting your peace by pruning your circle. When you step through this next door, you must be light enough to move freely. Bitterness, anger, and fear are too heavy to carry through. Forgive quickly, release deeply, move forward gracefully. Because what God has prepared for you is too great to be hindered by yesterday's pain. The door that God is opening will not only bring you what you prayed for, it will bring you what you never knew you needed. It will restore your confidence, reignite your joy, and renew your strength. It will confirm that every tear you cried had purpose. You will look back on the nights you thought you wouldn't make it and realize those were the nights God was closest. The same tears that watered your pain will water your harvest. You are stepping into a season where everything that once broke you will now bless you. What was meant for harm will now serve your destiny. God wastes nothing. Every scar becomes a testimony. And understand this: when God opens the door, walk through it with gratitude, not pride. Remember where you came from. Remember the prayers you prayed when no one was listening. Remember how far God has brought you. Gratitude keeps the heart humble, and humility keeps the blessing flowing. The moment you start to think it was your doing, the favor begins to fade. But when you continually give God the glory, He multiplies the blessing beyond measure. The humble heart is the magnet of divine increase. Stay low, and God will keep lifting you higher. Some of you have been standing at the edge of destiny for too long. You've been waiting for a sign, for assurance, for the perfect moment. But faith is not waiting for proof. Faith is stepping forward while trusting that God has already gone ahead of you. The door may not look big, it may not even look impressive, But behind that door is the breakthrough you've been praying for. Don't let fear hold you hostage. Fear will always try to convince you that it's safer to stay where you are. But comfort zones are cages, and destiny requires courage. If God is leading you to it, then He has already prepared the way through it. The same God who opens the door will sustain you behind it. There's a spiritual law you must remember. When one door opens, another must close. You cannot enter the new while clinging to the old. Let go of what no longer serves your purpose. Some relationships, habits, and environments were only meant for a season. Stop trying to resurrect what God has already buried. Stop asking for permission to move forward. The time has come to walk into what God has prepared. Every closed door behind you is confirmation that the open one before you is divine. Don't look back. Don't hesitate. The new door is calling your name. You may be wondering, how will I know when the door is open? You will know because peace will surround it. God's presence will confirm it. You won't have to force it. It will unfold naturally. The right opportunities will come into alignment. The right people will appear, and the right timing will reveal itself. God doesn't open doors in confusion. He opens them in order. He doesn't rush. He orchestrates. And when it happens, it will be so clear, so perfect, so undeniable that even your enemies will have to say, "Surely this was the work of God." Right now, while you are listening, heaven is moving in your favor. God is setting things in motion that will astonish you. You've been in a season of testing, but now comes the season of testimony. The same hands that held you through the storm are now opening the gates of opportunity. The same power that kept you alive through pain is now propelling you into purpose. You didn't survive all that for nothing. You survived because you were chosen for this very moment. You were meant to witness this new chapter. God is about to demonstrate His power in such a way that every struggle will make sense. And let me tell you this with absolute conviction. No force in the world can close what God has decided to open. No authority, no enemy, no circumstance has that power. When God says go, creation itself responds. Mountains move, seas part, paths change, ways form where there were none. That is the authority of divine command. So do not fear what stands in your way. Fear missing what's ahead by standing still. The door's open. The path is clear. Your future is calling. Step through with faith and watch how God turns every impossibility into a miracle before your eyes. Because when God opens a door, it doesn't just change your situation, it changes your story. It changes the way you see life, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you believe. It transforms despair into determination, pain into purpose, and silence into songs of victory. Right now, at this very moment, something unseen is unlocking. Something powerful is breaking open. Heaven is announcing a new chapter over your life. The door that will change everything. It's opening. God is doing it quietly, completely, and perfectly. When God opens the door, you will realize that nothing in your life was wasted. Every trial, every delay, every disappointment served a divine purpose. The closed doors of your past were not punishments. They were divine detours. God was leading you through what seemed like confusion to bring you into perfect alignment with His plan. There were moments when you felt lost, but even then, God was leading you by an invisible hand. You may not have understood the path, but God knew where it was leading. Sometimes He has to break your plans so He can build His purpose. Sometimes He lets you walk through deserts so that when the garden appears, You value every drop of water. And when you finally step through the door, He opens. You will understand that every tear was a seed for your harvest. God never opens a door for your comfort. He opens it for your calling. The purpose of the open door is not to make life easier, but to make your destiny clearer. This is the season where you will have to walk by faith more than ever before. The door God is opening will require boldness, courage, and trust. You cannot walk through it with fear in your heart. Fear hesitates, but faith steps forward. Fear looks at the size of the obstacle, but faith looks at the greatness of God. The door may seem too large, too high, too heavy, but it was built that way to remind you that only God could open it. He wants you to know that your strength is not enough, your wisdom is not enough, and your resources are not enough, but He is enough. And when you walk through the door God opens, you must walk with obedience. Obedience is the key that keeps divine doors unlocked. God blesses those who not only pray, but obey. He rewards those who walk in integrity when no one is watching. If you want the door to stay open, you must remain faithful in private. The same discipline that sustained you in the wilderness must continue in the promised land. The same humility that kept you grounded in your trials must remain when you are standing in victory. Because God does not open doors for prideful hearts, He opens them for surrendered ones. Stay surrendered, and the flow of favor will never stop. Some people think God's open doors are only about success, money, or recognition. But divine openings are much deeper. The greatest doors God opens are not always visible to others. Sometimes the most powerful door is the door of peace after years of torment, the door of healing after seasons of pain, the door of clarity after confusion. The doors that matter most are not always made of gold. They are made of grace. And when God opens those doors, your soul breathes again. You begin to see that the real blessing was not in what you gained, but in who you became. There will be moments when you stand before the door God has promised, and doubt will whisper, "Are you sure?" That's when you must silence the noise and stand firm in faith, because doubt is the last test before destiny. The enemy always attacks hardest right before the breakthrough. He will try to fill your mind with fear, confusion, and comparison. But you must remember, if God brought you to the door, He has already given you the key. You do not need validation from people when you have confirmation from God. Walk boldly even if your legs tremble. The same power that brought you to this point will sustain you through it all. And don't be surprised when the door God opens doesn't look like what you imagined. Often He wraps blessings in the garments of burdens. He plants opportunities within obstacles and hides miracles in the middle of messes. The doorway that shifts your entire life may not sparkle with comfort or luxury. It may arrive disguised as hardship, duty, or challenge. But that's the beauty of God's design. He conceals destiny within difficulty so that only hearts anchored in faith can uncover it. If you measure the door by how it looks, you may walk away from the very path meant to lift you higher. Yet when you trust God's hand, even when His plan seems hidden, you'll realize His ways are far greater than yours, and His timing always flawless. Right now, God is positioning you in front of something that will shift your entire life. It may seem quiet on the surface, but deep down something is moving. Heaven is aligning opportunities, relationships, and resources that will open in perfect sequence. It's not coincidence. It's divine order. The same God who commanded the stars to move in their place has orchestrated this door to open at the right moment. Every second of waiting has been part of a greater symphony. And when your moment arrives, it will not come late or early. It will come precisely on time. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Sometimes the door that changes everything starts as a tiny opening, a whisper, an idea, a simple act of faith. Don't despise the small start. Great doors swing on small hinges. A single act of obedience can unlock a flood of blessings. A simple step of faith can set your entire life on a new course. The greatest transformations often begin quietly. So when God nudges your spirit, when He plants an idea in your heart, when He gives you a vision in the stillness of prayer, pay attention. That may be the beginning of the door that changes everything. The world may not understand what God is doing in you right now. They may question why you've changed, why you've withdrawn, why you've stopped chasing what others chase. But that's because they cannot see the door God is preparing for you. When you carry divine purpose, isolation precedes elevation. God separates you before He promotes you. Don't mistake separation for abandonment. God isn't leaving you, He's positioning you. He's removing noise so you can hear His instruction clearly. Because when the door opens, you will need to move swiftly. You won't have time to second guess or seek approval. You must be ready to step through with unwavering faith. And as you walk through, remember that every door God opens also opens responsibility. New blessings come with new weight. New influence comes with new accountability. You will be called to represent God with greater grace and deeper humility. The higher He takes you, the lower you must bow before Him. The greater your blessing, the stronger your devotion must be. Because the purpose of the open door is not self-glory, it's divine glory. God lifts you so that through your life, others will see His light. This next door will challenge you to grow beyond your comfort zone. It will stretch your faith, demand your courage, and test your patience. But it will also reveal the greatness that God placed within you. You were not created to live in limitation. You were born for expansion, for impact, for divine purpose. The same power that created the universe is at work within your spirit. So rise up with faith. Speak life over your future. Declare boldly that no closed door, no human hand, no earthly system can block what God has ordained for you. You are entering a season where divine acceleration will overtake you. Things that were delayed for years will begin to happen quickly. Prayers that seemed forgotten will be answered suddenly. What once seemed unreachable will now be within your grasp. Because when God opens a door, He redeems time. He makes up for lost years, lost opportunities, and lost seasons. You will look back and realize that the waiting didn't waste time. It preserved you for the right time. God was not withholding, He was preparing, and now He's releasing. Do not be surprised when doors begin to open in unexpected places. God can use strangers to bless you, situations to favor you, and even your enemies to position you. When God's hand is on your life, everything becomes an instrument of His plan. People may try to stop it, but they cannot. Systems may resist it, but they cannot. Because divine will always override human intention. What God opens, no one can close. What God blesses, no one can curse. What God establishes, no one can destroy. And as this new door opens, don't just walk through it. Run through it with gratitude. Thank God not only for what He's giving you, but for what He's bringing you out of. Every closed chapter deserves your appreciation because it prepared you for this moment. The rejection made you resilient. The silence taught you to listen. The delay trained your patience. The pain refined your heart. Every part of your past carried purpose. And now, all of it will make sense. When God opens the door that will change everything, the shift will not only happen around you, it will happen within you. Something deep inside your spirit will awaken. You will begin to sense a new clarity, a quiet strength, and a confidence that is not built on your own power, but on the assurance that God Himself is guiding your every step. You will walk differently because you will know that the same God who opened the door is walking beside you through it. You will stop doubting whether you belong there because God does not open doors for the uninvited. He opens them for the chosen. You are not in this moment by accident. Every second of your life has led to this divine intersection where obedience meets opportunity and faith meets fulfillment. When God opens a door, it is more than a blessing. It is an assignment. The open door is not just a place for you to be elevated, it is a space for God to be glorified. He raises you not to make your name great, but to display His greatness through your life. That is why you must enter every new door with humility and awareness. Remember that you are not walking in by your own merit, but by divine mercy. The same God who promotes you can also preserve you if you remain humble. Do not let success make you forget who sustained you in struggle. Keep your heart anchored in gratitude because gratitude multiplies blessings. When you honor God for the door, He will keep opening new ones that no one else can see. Sometimes the door God opens will not lead to comfort, but to calling. It will stretch you. It will demand more of your character than of your talent. It will require you to stand firm when others shrink back. But that is where transformation happens. You cannot grow in safety. You grow in surrender. God opens doors that challenge your faith so that you can discover the depth of His power. You will never know how strong God is until you are placed in a situation where only He can sustain you. That's why you should never fear the unknown. The unknown is where God reveals Himself. The unfamiliar is where His greatness becomes undeniable. When you stand before a new door, remember this: your preparation determines your promotion. God will never open a door you are not ready to enter. That's why He allowed the trials, the setbacks, and the long nights. He was refining your patience, sharpening your discernment, and deepening your endurance. You were not being delayed, you were being developed. Every challenge was molding you into a vessel strong enough to carry what He's about to release. You had to lose certain things so you could learn how to handle better things. You had to be hidden so you could be healed before you were revealed. You had to be emptied so that when the blessing comes, it won't become your idol. The beauty of God's timing is that it never misses. When the right door opens, you will realize it was worth every second of waiting. God does not rush because He knows how to prepare perfectly. He is never late. He is always precise. The reason He took His time is because He was not just arranging circumstances. He was aligning your spirit. And now, after all the tears, all the lessons, and all the waiting, the divine alignment is complete. You are ready to step into what you once only dreamed about. What you prayed for is now about to meet you face to face. But remember, when you walk through the door God opens, you must walk with wisdom. The same blessing that elevates you can also test you. The door will expose what's inside of you. Will you remain patient when the responsibility grows heavy? Will you stay kind when power increases? Will you remain faithful when the applause fades? God is not impressed by how fast you enter. He is honored by how faithfully you remain. Keep your heart pure in every level of success. The higher God takes you, the more you must depend on Him. Pride builds walls, but humility opens more doors. Some of you are standing before a door that doesn't make sense. You prayed for one thing, but God is leading you toward another. You wanted an easy path, but He's showing you a difficult one. You wanted peace, but He's giving you purpose. And purpose often feels heavy at first. But trust this: if God has opened it, He has already equipped you for it. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. Step forward knowing that God's strength is stronger than your uncertainty. His wisdom sees what your eyes cannot. His plan will always exceed your understanding. The greatest test before every open door is your willingness to let go of the old. You cannot carry yesterday's fear into tomorrow's opportunity. You cannot walk into new blessings with an old mindset. God's new door requires a new version of you, one that trusts deeper, forgives faster, and believes stronger. This is your moment to shed the weight of doubt, guilt, and regret. You cannot step forward while looking backward. The past is over. The lessons remain, but the pain has served its purpose. Now walk freely, knowing that God has already gone before you. There is power in surrender. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you give God room to move. Sometimes the door opens not when you push, but when you release. When you stop striving and start trusting, God begins to unfold His plan effortlessly. The energy you once used to worry will become the fuel you use to walk in peace. And when you finally step through that door, you will realize that it was never about force. It was about faith. This door will separate your old life from your new one. You are crossing from uncertainty to clarity, from struggle to strength, from delay to destiny. You are not the same person who once questioned if you were good enough. God has transformed your spirit, healed your heart, and renewed your strength. You are ready for what's next. You are ready to walk into rooms where your name was never spoken before, to sit at tables you never thought you'd reach, to influence lives you never imagined you could touch. That's what happens when God opens a door. He not only changes your direction, He expands your impact. And understand this: not every open door is about you. Sometimes God opens doors through you. He blesses you so that others can find hope. He elevates you so that you can lift others. You are not just walking into favor, you are walking into responsibility. There are people tied to your obedience. When you say yes to God, you become the answer to someone else's prayer. The open door is bigger than your story. It's part of God's greater plan. So when you walk through it, walk with purpose. Every step you take is a testimony that faith still works, that patience still wins, and that God is still faithful. You may have walked through years of silence, but this is your season of sound. You may have endured seasons where nothing seemed to move, but now everything is shifting at once. When God decides it's time, things accelerate. You will find yourself in the right places, meeting the right people, doing the right things without striving. Doors that were sealed for years will suddenly open as if they were waiting for you all along. That's the mystery of divine timing. When it's your moment, even closed gates will swing open at your arrival. Right now you may feel unworthy of what's coming, but don't let that stop you. Worthiness has never been a requirement. Willingness is. God looks for hearts that say, "I'm ready." He chooses those who depend on Him more than on themselves. He blesses those who remain humble even when honored, faithful even when forgotten, and steadfast even when stretched. You are that person. You wouldn't have survived what you did if you weren't. You wouldn't still be here if you weren't chosen for something greater. Stand tall in faith. Draw a deep breath of trust. Lift your gaze beyond the chaos of this world and fix your heart on the one who already holds tomorrow. The doorway you've been searching for isn't in the distance. It's unfolding right before your eyes. That flicker of light breaking through the cracks is not your imagination. It is heaven's signal that the time has come. God has spoken a fresh decree over your life, and no force can undo it. You are on the brink of a transformation crafted by divine hands alone. You're stepping into the turning point that will reshape everything, not by luck, but by divine appointment. As you walk through this open door, you won't simply enter a new environment. You'll rise into a higher realm of peace, strength, and divine insight. You'll carry wisdom refined through trials. You'll bear authority born from endurance, and your words will flow with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing God walked beside you all along. This is your appointed time. The season of waiting has ended. The door stands open. Step boldly forward, for what awaits you is far greater than anything left behind. Sometimes God shakes the very ground beneath your feet, not to bring your downfall, but to stir your awakening. He allows your plans to crumble so that His greater design can take its rightful place. He closes doors you thought you needed because He's preparing to open one that no hand can ever seal shut. What feels like confusion is not chaos, it's divine interruption. God is stepping in with a force of favor that will shake everything familiar. This isn't gentle favor that waits at the doorstep. It's the kind that storms in and rearranges your entire life. You've been praying for a blessing, but what's coming surpasses blessing. It's a divine takeover. When God intervenes, He doesn't whisper. His favor roars like a mighty wind. It dismantles the plans of the proud. It reveals what was false and shatters every limitation placed upon your name. God's favor is not gentle when it's time to elevate you. It's violent because it must fight through the barriers that held you back. It must rip through the fear, the doubt, the wrong people, the missed chances, the delayed dreams. When God moves, He shakes the heavens and the earth to make sure His word over your life comes to pass. You've been asking God, when will it be my turn? And God is answering now. You've been asking, when will I be seen? And God is saying, I hid you to protect you until it was time. The same God who can turn a wilderness into a river, who can call light out of darkness, is about to turn your delay into demonstration. You've cried, you've endured, you've watched others rise while you waited. But God says, this time I'm not sending a sign. I'm sending favor itself. Violent favor. Swift, unexplainable, undeniable favor that will make every struggle worth it. God's interruptions are not accidents. They are strategic strikes of mercy. When He interrupts your life, He's not punishing you. He's promoting you. What looks like a breakdown is often a divine setup for breakthrough. You thought life was falling apart, but God was clearing space for the new. You thought people were leaving you, but God was making room for destiny helpers who will carry you into your next season. You thought you lost something precious, but God was removing what couldn't go with you into the future He designed. Every divine interruption comes with divine intention. Some of you have been living in survival mode for too long. You've accepted barely enough as normal. You've made peace with struggle because you've forgotten that God is not limited by economy, position, or circumstance. But this interruption that's coming, this violent favor, is about to break every ceiling you've lived under. It will not come through who you expect. It will not happen the way you planned. But when it happens, you will know that only God could have done it. God is about to shift the atmosphere around you so powerfully that even your enemies will have to testify that His hand is upon your life. There are seasons when God blesses you quietly, but this is not one of them. This is the season when God is about to announce you, when His favor is going to come so loud, so visible that no one can deny it. You are about to become living proof that God remembers, that God restores, that God rewards faithfulness even after years of silence. Everything that seemed wasted, every tear, every disappointment, every lonely night has been turned into fuel for this moment. God has been storing up favor for you, and when He releases it, it will feel like an explosion of blessing. This is what violent favor looks like. Doors opening that should have stayed locked, opportunities appearing where none existed, people being moved out of your way without explanation. You'll wake up one morning and realize the things that once stressed you no longer have power over you. The places where you once struggled will become testimonies of victory. The rejection that broke your heart will become the reason you were redirected into purpose. That is how God works. He uses the very things that wounded you to launch you into His will. You see, God's favor isn't just meant to comfort you, it's meant to transform you. When God favors you, you will not remain in the same place. You will not think the same, walk the same, or speak the same. His favor marks you for distinction. People who ignored you will suddenly remember you. Doors that refuse to open will swing wide as if commanded by a higher authority because they are. God's favor carries authority. It demands recognition even in places you've never been. So don't fear the shaking. Don't panic when life feels out of control. God is not dismantling your world. He's rebuilding it on a foundation that cannot be moved. You might be in the middle of a storm, but that storm is clearing the way for His favor to arrive. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment was divine choreography, heaven's strategy to position you for what's next. God is saying, I'm not done with you. I'm just getting started. You've been hidden because you're about to be revealed. You've been tested because you're about to be trusted. You've been stretched because you're about to be expanded. The storm you're in is not random. It's the announcement that favor is near. Violent favor doesn't come when life is calm. It comes when everything looks chaotic, because that's when the power of God is most visible. When it looks impossible, you thought you were forgotten, but you were being prepared. You thought the silence meant rejection, but it was protection. You thought the end had come, but God was writing the next chapter in secret. And now that chapter is about to open. The people who dismissed you will have to watch as God exalts you. The same mouths that spoke against you will speak of you in awe, because when God decides to favor someone, He does it so boldly that no man can take the credit. The tables are turning. The winds are shifting. What was delayed is now being delivered. The same God who turns dry valleys into rivers is about to flood your life with favor. It won't be fair. It won't make sense, but it will be God. You're not just going to experience increase. You're going to experience acceleration. What should have taken years will happen in months, Guab. What you thought was lost will return multiplied, because when God's violent favor moves, it redeems time. When God prepares to favor you violently, He will first disturb your comfort. He will shake the very ground you stand on so that what is weak in your foundation will crumble. You may think something is going wrong, but in truth, something greater is being born. God is not trying to destroy you. He's preparing you for elevation. The same hand that allows the storm will soon lift you above it. You cannot rise without first being separated, and you cannot be separated without disruption. That's why God's interruptions often come wrapped in confusion, because what feels like chaos is actually construction. God is building something within you that can only emerge through pressure. The season of shaking is not punishment. It's preparation for violent favor. When God decides to move in your life, He doesn't whisper to the universe, or He commands it. He doesn't suggest blessings, He orders them. When His word goes forth, everything in creation must obey. The doors that were shut begin to tremble, the walls that stood firm begin to crack, and the obstacles that seemed permanent begin to collapse. God's favor carries authority. It speaks and nature responds. It declares and time realigns. That's why when favor hits, it often happens suddenly. One moment you're in obscurity, the next you're being elevated to heights you never imagined. One moment you're praying for survival, the next you're living in overflow. Violent favor is sudden, overwhelming, and undeniable because it comes directly from God's decree. Do not mistake delay for denial. God's timing is not slow, it is strategic. He holds you back not to hold you down, but to make sure you are prepared for what He is about to release. If you receive favor too soon, it could crush you. So God waits. He tests your patience, your integrity, your faith. He watches how you handle the dry season, how you treat people when no one is watching, how you respond when you are ignored. Because when His violent favor comes, it comes with responsibility. God will not bless you beyond what you can carry. So if you're in a waiting season, rejoice. It means the favor He's preparing is weighty. It's not ordinary. It's not small. It's going to require strength to sustain it. And that's what He's building in you now. Many people pray for favor but are not ready for the interruption that comes with it. When God favors you, He shifts everything. Your relationships, your routines, your priorities. What used to satisfy you will no longer fill you. The conversations you once enjoyed will begin to drain you. People who once walked with you will begin to distance themselves. Not because you've changed for the worse, but because you've been marked for more. Favor isolates before it elevates. God separates before He showcases. He must remove distractions before He releases direction. Don't mourn what left your life. Celebrate that God is making space for what's next. The path to violent favor is not smooth. It's sacred. God hides you in places where others cannot see you. He allows you to be misunderstood because He's protecting your mission. Sometimes His silence is His shield. You might be wondering why no one is recognizing your efforts, why no one sees the value you carry. But God says, stay hidden a little longer. I'm not done shaping you. When the moment comes, His favor will not just introduce you, it will endorse you. No one will be able to deny the hand of God upon you. They will see it. They will feel it. They will speak of it. Because divine favor is not subtle, it announces itself through undeniable results. When God interrupts your life, He also interrupts the plans of those who wanted to see you fail. His favor becomes your defense. You won't have to fight with words. God will fight with outcomes. He will silence gossip with success. He will drown accusations with blessings. The same people who tried to close doors on you will have to watch as God opens new ones in your face. That's what violent favor does. It doesn't just bless you, it vindicates you. It proves that God was with you all along. And when He elevates you, it will be clear that no human hand could have made it happen. Favor doesn't mean life will be easy. It means you'll be carried through what destroys others. It means even in the fire you will not burn. Even in the storm you will not drown. Even in loss you will not be destroyed. Because favor doesn't always remove battles. It guarantees victory in them. God's favor surrounds you like a shield, guiding, protecting, and pushing you forward when everything else is trying to hold you back. You may have lost some things, but nothing you lost can compare to what God is about to release. He will restore in abundance what was taken in limitation. There are times when God's favor comes so powerfully that it offends those who expected you to stay small. They'll wonder why everything suddenly begins to work for you. They'll question how you recovered so fast, how you succeeded so quickly, how you found strength when they expected you to give up. The answer is simple. God intervened. His favor interrupted your story. His power overruled every opinion. His mercy overturned every verdict. That is the essence of violent favor. It breaks the rules for your sake. What logic says should happen, God reverses. What others think is over, God resurrects. What you thought was a dead end becomes a divine detour. And when God favors you, He also exposes truth. The fake will flee. The real will remain. People who were comfortable with your struggle will feel threatened by your success. But don't dim your light to make them comfortable. God did not raise you to blend in. He raised you to stand out. Violent favor demands visibility. When God puts His hand on you, it's not to hide you forever, but to display His glory through you. You are meant to shine, not to boast, but to show what happens when God takes an ordinary life and fills it with extraordinary grace. Do not fear when God begins to change everything around you. The shaking is proof that something supernatural is being released. The people who walk away are part of the divine subtraction that makes room for divine multiplication. The doors that close are instructions from heaven saying, "Not here, not now, not them." God's direction often comes disguised as rejection. And when His violent favor moves, it will bypass every limitation, every system, every voice that said you could not make it. God's hand will place you where talent, connection, and status could never take you. Sometimes the favor of God will put you in uncomfortable places because elevation always feels unnatural. You'll be surrounded by opportunities that stretch your faith. You'll stand in rooms that once intimidated you. You'll handle responsibilities that once scared you. But God's favor equips what it elevates. He will not bring you to a place without giving you the strength to stand in it. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust that God knows what He's doing. He's not trying to overwhelm you. He's trying to overflow you. There are blessings waiting for you that your mind cannot comprehend. There are resources being gathered in your name. There are hearts being prepared to help you, doors being unlocked before you arrive, and opportunities being aligned that no one else can claim. This is what divine interruption looks like. You think you're being delayed, but God is behind the scenes, arranging every detail so that when you walk in, everything is ready. Favor doesn't need explanation. It needs obedience. When the time comes, move. Don't hesitate. Don't question. When God says go, that means He's already gone ahead of you. You have reached the edge of a shift. The air around you is heavy with transition. You can feel something stirring, though you cannot name it. That's the whisper of divine favor preparing to roar. That's the unseen hand of God moving pieces into place. You are not being ignored, you are being orchestrated. God is positioning you for a sudden manifestation. Something so big, so shocking that it will redefine your life. You will look back and realize that every heartbreak, every delay, every disappointment was necessary to align you with destiny. There are seasons when God hides His power, and there are seasons when He displays it violently. You are entering the ladder. You will see swift reversals. You will see rapid progress. You will see unexpected elevation. What once took years will now take days, because when God accelerates, He redeems time. He compresses what should have been a lifetime into a moment. He gives back what was stolen, multiplied beyond measure. That's violent favor. It's not just blessing, it's divine payback. When God decides it is time to favor you, there is no force in creation that can stand in the way. When His decree is written over your life, even the storms must bow to it. God's power does not ask for permission. It commands reality to shift. What once resisted, you will now respond to you. People who once ignored, you will now be assigned to bless you. The circumstances that were meant to destroy, you will instead deliver you into destiny. This is what happens when divine favor turns violent. It moves like thunder through the unseen, breaking the walls of limitation, shattering the chains of delay and calling forth everything that belongs to you. When God steps into your life in this way, nothing remains the same. You will find that the things which used to discourage you no longer carry weight. You will begin to see yourself not as a victim of time, but as a vessel of divine timing. Every setback will begin to look like strategy. Every betrayal will begin to feel like redirection. That's what God does. He redeems meaning out of misery. He turns every valley into a stage for victory. You will realize that nothing was wasted, not even the pain, because all of it has been preparing you for this eruption of favor. And this favor is not quiet. It will not move silently through your life. It will roar. It will draw attention because it is meant to glorify the power of God. When His hand is upon you, He makes you a living example of what obedience, faith, and endurance can produce. He will use your story to awaken others. People will look at you and say, "Surely God is with them." That is how strong this favor is. It cannot be hidden. It cannot be denied. It cannot be explained by logic. It is pure, unstoppable mercy poured out in divine measure. Sometimes God must strip everything away so that when He blesses you, no one else can take the credit. You may lose relationships, positions, or possessions, but you will gain revelation. You will begin to understand that what left you was never meant to define you. What broke you was never meant to end you. God was making room for something greater. When His violent favor comes, it replaces what was temporary with what is eternal. It gives you something that cannot be taken: peace in your spirit, confidence in your purpose, strength in your heart. This is the kind of favor that transforms you from the inside out. And God's favor doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your capacity. You will begin to dream bigger, to think higher, to speak with greater authority. You will begin to act as if you know who is behind you, because you do. God Himself is your backing. That means you no longer move with fear because you are no longer walking alone. The same power that created the universe walks beside you, opening doors, aligning hearts, and commanding opportunities to locate you. You won't have to chase blessings. They will begin to chase you. The flow of God's favor will follow you into every space you enter. When this season of violent favor arrives, you must be ready to move. God's favor is active, not passive, and it demands faith in motion. You cannot receive divine interruptions while clinging to old instructions. There will be moments when God asks you to leave the familiar, to walk away from comfort, to step into unknown territory. It will test your faith, but that's how favor works. It calls you to rise beyond your understanding. God's plan is rarely comfortable, but it is always perfect. And when you obey, the blessings that follow will be greater than the fear that tried to hold you back. There will be people who do not understand what is happening in your life. Some will question why you are suddenly being elevated. Others will envy the peace that radiates from you. But do not waste energy explaining divine favor to those who do not walk with God. What they see as coincidence is actually covenant. What they call luck is divine orchestration. God's favor cannot be debated. It can only be discerned. Let your success speak. Let your peace preach. Let your transformation testify. You are not rising by accident. You are rising by appointment. When God's violent favor enters your life, it will feel like acceleration. You will begin to see things that took years happen in days. You will feel the rhythm of grace carrying you beyond effort. You will move at the speed of divine will, but with acceleration comes responsibility. God will test whether you can handle favor with humility, because favor without character becomes corruption. That is why God waited until now. He wanted to make sure that when the blessing arrived, you would not forget the one who gave it. So remember, stay humble, stay grateful, stay aligned. The favor that God is releasing is not for your pride, it is for His purpose. God's favor will also expose what is false. People who pretended to support you will show their true hearts when you start to rise. Those who celebrated you in struggle may resent you in success, but do not fear their opinions. God's hand is your validation. When He favors you, you no longer need approval. You no longer need applause. You no longer need to prove yourself. God's signature on your life is louder than any rumor. Let them talk. Your results will respond. Let them doubt. Your destiny will deliver proof. When God blesses you openly, it silences every voice that once questioned your worth. And this favor is not temporary. It's not a flash of blessing that fades away. It's a permanent shift in your atmosphere. Once God's hand touches your life, the pattern of struggle is broken. The cycle of limitation ends. The curse of stagnation dissolves. What used to block you will begin to bless you. What once resisted you will now work for you. Every system, every network, every opportunity will begin to cooperate with your purpose. That is how powerful God's favor is. It changes the laws of cause and effect. It rearranges reality to fulfill divine intention. Some of you are standing in the middle of unanswered prayers thinking God has forgotten you, but He hasn't. He's about to show you why He made you wait. He's about to reveal what He was preparing behind the scenes. When it happens, you'll realize that the wait wasn't punishment. It was positioning. You had to be molded, refined, stretched, and strengthened because what He's bringing is greater than what you lost. God never takes without intending to give more. He never closes a chapter without writing a stronger one. The same God who tested your patience is now preparing your promotion. And when this violent favor arrives, it will affect everything connected to you. Your family will feel it. Your home will reflect it. Your work will overflow with it. Even your enemies will benefit from the overflow of your blessing. Because when God blesses someone, He makes them a vessel of distribution. You become the proof that God still lifts the faithful. You become the living evidence that endurance pays off. And through your story, others will find courage to keep believing. That's the power of divine favor. It multiplies influence. Do not fear the magnitude of what is coming. God's favor doesn't fall on the flawless. It rests on those who are simply willing. All He asks is that you trust Him enough to walk wherever His hand directs. When His favor comes with force, It may tear up your old plans, but it will never steal your peace. It may shift your path, but your purpose will remain untouched. It may stretch your faith beyond comfort, yet your spirit will stand unbroken, because every divine disruption is truly an invitation to greater faith, deeper calling, and a destiny beyond what you imagined. This is your hour to rise. This is your appointed time to step with boldness into what God has been shaping behind the scenes. Every obstacle that once ridiculed you will soon become the altar of your testimony. Every loss will transform into the wisdom that fuels your next victory. Every hidden season will now produce public recognition. The tears you cried in silence are about to water the ground where your miracle will grow. God is about to move so mightily that even you will stand in awe of what He has done. The days of delay are over. The time of waiting is fulfilled. The heavens are shifting. The atmosphere is charged. And the Word of God over your life is being activated. Prepare yourself, because this favor will not knock gently. It will break through every limitation, tear down every barrier, and flood your life with blessings that overflow. You will not have to chase it. It will find you. You will not have to force it. It will unfold naturally. Because when God decrees favor, it becomes law. Nothing can undo what He has spoken. There are moments in life when God's plan doesn't make sense to the human mind, yet it is unfolding with divine precision. You may not see it, but every delay, every disappointment, every closed door has been part of a higher design meant to position you for something greater. When God is preparing to interrupt your life with violent favor, He often hides you before He reveals you. He conceals your greatness until the appointed time, not because you are forgotten, but because the wrong exposure can destroy the right purpose. God does not reveal diamonds before they are refined, and you are in the season of refinement. The fire you've been through was not punishment. It was preparation. The tears you cried were not wasted. They were watering the soil of your destiny. The silence was not rejection. It was divine strategy. When God decides to move, He does not need anyone's permission. He does not ask your enemies for approval, and He does not wait for those who doubted you to change their opinions. When God's favor comes, it overrides human logic. It cancels every limitation that people tried to place on your life. You will see people who once pitied you begin to envy the peace and strength you carry. You will watch those who mocked your faith begin to ask how you endured so long. That is what happens when God interrupts your story. He turns every humiliation into elevation, every trial into triumph, every rejection into redirection. His favor does not come to fit into your life. It comes to recreate it. And understand this, when God's favor comes violently, it doesn't mean it's destructive. It means it's unstoppable. It moves through the barriers that once intimidated you. It breaks the fear that once limited you. It silences the voices that once controlled you. God's favor will move mountains that stood in your way for years. And it will do it so swiftly that those who watched you struggle will be left in awe. What once took you years to accomplish will suddenly begin to happen with ease. The very thing that seemed impossible will bow to the will of God. For when He declares a thing, nothing in heaven or earth can oppose it. There are seasons when God quietly works in your life, but then there are moments when He moves with sudden power. Moments when blessings overflow, doors open without effort, and breakthroughs arrive faster than your mind can comprehend. You are entering such a moment. You are standing on the edge of divine interruption. The winds of change are blowing. The silence that once surrounded you is about to be filled with the sound of answered prayers. God is stepping into the rhythm of your days to rearrange everything that once seemed unchangeable. You've endured the waiting, and now favor will find you without warning. Many times before favor comes, life feels like it's falling apart. You begin to lose things you thought were permanent. People walk away, opportunities vanish, and everything familiar begins to shift. But this is not the end. This is God clearing the stage. He removes what cannot handle where you are going. He disconnects you from what is too small for your destiny. He takes away your crutches so you will learn to walk in faith. You cannot carry the weight of your old life into your new season. When God interrupts your life, He first disturbs your comfort so He can prepare you for the extraordinary. What looks like loss is often the groundwork for promotion. What feels like isolation is preparation for elevation. Do not mistake the shaking for failure. God shakes what must be removed to reveal what must remain. You prayed for favor, and God is answering by removing what is fake so that only what is real can rise. His interruptions are divine interventions disguised as inconvenience. What you call delay, God calls development. What you call rejection, God calls redirection. What you call ending, God calls transformation. Every storm you've faced has been carrying the fragrance of favor. Every tear has been watering the seeds of a new beginning. Every disappointment has been setting the stage for your greatest comeback. And when that violent favor arrives, it will not knock softly. It will burst through the doors of impossibility. It will make room where there was no space. It will rewrite the narrative that others wrote about you. People who once counted you out will be forced to acknowledge that it was God who lifted you. They will see the evidence of divine intervention all over your life. The same mouth that spoke against you will be silenced by the weight of your blessing. The same eyes that watched you struggle will witness your restoration. The same hands that tried to hold you back will have no power to stop what God has ordained. God's favor is not limited by your past. It is not hindered by your mistakes. It is not bound by your age, background, or education. When God decides to favor you, He will raise you from the dust and make your name known in places your feet have never stepped. He will cause people you've never met to speak on your behalf. He will open doors you didn't even know existed. You won't have to chase what God has chosen for you. It will find you. His favor is like a flood. Once it begins to flow, nothing can contain it. You must prepare your heart for this divine interruption. When God's violent favor comes, it requires space. It demands surrender. It calls for a new level of trust. You cannot enter this season holding on to the fears and doubts of yesterday. You must let go of what was so you can embrace what is coming. God cannot fill a cup that is already full. Empty yourself of anxiety, of bitterness, of unbelief. Let Him pour new oil, new strength, new vision into your spirit. He is not only changing your circumstances, He is changing you, because favor is not just about what God gives you. It's about what He makes you become. There are moments when God favors you so fiercely that even your enemies become instruments of your progress. Those who try to harm you will unknowingly push you closer to your destiny. Those who try to block your path will create new opportunities for your growth. God uses opposition as confirmation that His hand is on you. Every attack is proof that your breakthrough is near. You are not under threat. You are under divine construction. The greater the warfare, the greater the favor that follows. There are moments in life when God's silence feels louder than thunder. When His delays seem endless and when you begin to wonder if He has forgotten your name. But I tell you today, He has not forgotten you. God never loses sight of those He has chosen. He may allow you to walk through the valley, but He will never let you be consumed by it. The silence you are experiencing is not neglect. It is the sound of divine construction. God is building something powerful in the unseen. And what He is preparing for you will require strength, maturity, and humility to sustain it. The favor that is coming is not ordinary. It is violent favor. The kind that overturns systems, shifts destinies, and dismantles barriers that have stood against you for years. When God interrupts your life with violent favor, it will not come through comfort. It will come through confrontation. God will confront everything in your life that does not align with His will. He will shake the foundations of your habits, your thinking, and your surroundings because He cannot release new favor into an old vessel. Some of you have been holding on to things that no longer serve your purpose. You've been praying for God to bless you, but He's been waiting for you to let go of what's blocking the blessing. When God comes, He comes to rearrange. He comes to reorder. He comes to redefine. And sometimes that process feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is a sign that divine favor is near. The pain you feel is proof that something holy is shifting within you. God's violent favor will not only elevate you, it will expose what was hidden. It will reveal people's true hearts. It will uncover motives you didn't see before. It will separate you from relationships that were quietly holding you back. Do not fight the separation, for separation often precedes elevation. God removes people not to punish you, but to protect you. He will not allow the wrong ones to share in what He is about to do in your life. When His favor breaks forth, it will be so sudden, so unexplainable, that those who tried to stop your rise will have no choice but to step aside and watch. They will see that it was not your connections, not your talent, not your wealth, but God's hand that lifted you. When God interrupts your life, He doesn't ask for your schedule. He follows His own. He moves when the timing is perfect, not when it's convenient. You may think you're ready, but God knows when you're prepared. Preparation in God's eyes is not about skill, it's about surrender. It's not about having the plan, it's about trusting His purpose. When He moves, it will be swift. What was stuck will suddenly begin to flow. What was delayed will accelerate. What was broken will begin to restore. When the moment of divine favor arrives, everything that resisted you will yield. Because when God speaks, creation responds. When He declares, circumstances align. When He commands, destiny bows. Many of you have been in a long season of testing, but testing always comes before revealing. The fire you endured was not meant to destroy you. It was designed to refine you. God was removing impurities so that His glory could rest upon you without distortion. You may not have realized it, but while you were crying, He was strengthening your spirit. While you were questioning, He was sharpening your discernment. While you were waiting, He was aligning your steps. And now the wait is about to make sense. The preparation is about to bear fruit. The prayers you whispered in darkness are about to echo through the light of your breakthrough. There is a shift happening right now in the spiritual atmosphere. Those who have been faithful in hidden seasons are about to be seen. Those who have been mocked for their patience are about to be rewarded for their endurance. Those who have remained steadfast while others doubted are about to witness the hand of God move with violent favor. You won't have to chase opportunity. It will chase you. You won't have to prove yourself. God Himself will confirm you. When He decides to favor you, no force in the universe can block it. He will make the impossible bow to His will. He will cause people in positions of power to remember your name. He will open doors that have been sealed for generations. Understand this: God's violent favor is not random, it is intentional. It comes when obedience has been tested and faith has been proven. It comes when your character has been shaped through adversity. Some people want the blessing without the breaking, but God knows that favor without foundation becomes destruction. That is why He took you through fire first, to ensure that when the blessing comes, it won't destroy you. He wanted you to learn humility before honor, patience before promotion, faith before fulfillment. Now that your heart has been purified, He can trust you with abundance. He can trust you with influence. He can trust you with the next level. You may look around and see others succeeding ahead of you and wonder why you are still waiting. But remember, when God builds something lasting, He takes His time. Quick success fades, but divine success endures. You are not behind. You are being positioned. The delay was your protection. The rejection was your redirection. Every time someone walked away, it was God's hand guiding you toward the place where His favor could find you. What you lost was never meant to limit you. It was meant to liberate you. God doesn't take anything away without the intention to replace it with something far greater. When His favor comes, it will rewrite the logic of your life. People will ask, "How did this happen?" And you will have no explanation but God. The same place where you were once broken will become the ground of your blessing. The same people who saw you fall will witness you rise. The same environment that tried to contain you will have to expand to accommodate your new level. Because when God blesses, He doesn't just restore what was lost, He multiplies it. He will give you double for every season of pain. He will turn your mourning into joy and your waiting into witness. Do not fear the sudden changes that are coming. Divine interruptions often look chaotic at first, but they carry perfect order within them. What feels like your world shaking is not destruction, but divine reconstruction. God is shifting every piece of your life to fit perfectly within His purpose. He's moving you out of what has expired and leading you into places that overflow with life and intention. He's cutting ties that cannot sustain the weight of your destiny. New faces, new visions, new paths will begin to pull at your spirit, and though it may confuse you now, soon you'll see that every shift was holy alignment. So remain steady. Keep your faith burning. Keep your spirit tender, because what's coming is not ordinary favor. You are standing at the doorway of explosive favor. God is about to step into your story so powerfully that it will bring you to your knees in reverence. Tears of gratitude will fall as you look back and realize every pause, every closed door, every wound was part of the preparation. God's hand never left you. The next chapter of your life will not be quiet. It will be swift. It will be sacred, and nothing will be able to stop it. Listen closely, my friend. There is a door your heart has longed for, a door you've prayed over, knocked on, wept for, dreamed about, and quietly waited to open. You've endured seasons of uncertainty. You've carried the burden of delay. You've felt the ache of being unseen. But hear me now, God is about to unlock the very door you've been waiting for. Not in your time, not in your strength, but in His divine moment, when all things align according to His perfect plan. Sometimes God delays the opening, not because you're not ready, but because the room behind the door isn't ready for you. You've been standing in the hallway wondering if you did something wrong, wondering if God forgot you, wondering if your prayers reached heaven. But the truth is, God has been preparing a place for you, shaping situations, moving people, aligning opportunities that your eyes cannot see. When God opens a door, no one can shut it, and when He keeps it closed, no one can force it open. Every tear you've cried in that waiting season was watering the seed of your breakthrough. Every lonely night was refining your heart. Every rejection was redirecting your path toward divine purpose. You see, God doesn't delay to deny you. He delays to prepare you. The door you're waiting for is not just an entrance to something new. It is a divine assignment. And only those who have been broken, tested, humbled, and refined can walk through it with power and wisdom. You've been watching others walk through their doors. You've seen them receive opportunities, blessings, favor, and answered prayers while you're still in the hallway. And you've wondered, God, when will it be my turn? But I want you to know this. When it's finally your time, God will open it so suddenly that years of waiting will make sense in one moment. One act of God can make up for a lifetime of waiting. One divine opening can shift your destiny forever. So don't let the silence fool you. Don't let the waiting convince you that nothing is happening. Behind the scenes, the hand of God is turning the key. He is unlocking the door in a way that no human could ever arrange. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who made a way where there was no way, is about to make a way for you. You have been tested because your blessing carries weight. The greater the door, the stronger the resistance. The longer the wait, the bigger the purpose behind it. And I want to speak directly to that part of you that feels forgotten. That voice inside that whispers, maybe it's not going to happen. No, my friend, it is going to happen. The door will open, but God will not open it until you're standing in complete trust. Not halfway faith, not conditional faith, but faith that says, even if it takes longer, I will still believe. Even if it looks impossible, I will still trust. Even if I don't see movement, I know God is moving. Because the truth is, faith is not proven in open doors. It's proven in closed ones. Anyone can praise God when everything works, but it's the one who praises through silence, through confusion, through delay, who truly captures the heart of God. And when God sees your faith remain unshaken despite the waiting, that's when heaven says, now it's time to open the door. You see, some of you have been walking in circles around the same wall for years. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've done everything right, and still no movement. But remember, the walls of Jericho didn't fall on the first day. They fell after persistent obedience. Every lap around that wall looked like nothing was happening, but with each step something was shifting in the unseen. That's how it is in your life right now. You may not see it, but every prayer, every act of faith, every tear, it's shaking the foundations of what's been holding your door shut. When you least expect it, God will do something that will leave you speechless. You will look back and say, now I understand why I had to wait. Now I see why it couldn't happen sooner. Because if God had opened that door when you first asked, you might have walked through with pride, with unhealed wounds, or with people who were never meant to go with you. But now you've been shaped by patience, strengthened by endurance, and humbled by grace. There are moments when God must separate you before He can elevate you. He closes certain doors not to punish, but to protect. He removes people not to isolate, but to preserve your peace. He delays opportunities not to withhold, but to refine. Every closed door is a form of divine guidance. Every no is a redirection toward the right yes. You think you're losing time, but you're gaining maturity. You think you're stuck, but you're actually being positioned. When God opens your door, it will not just bless you, It will bless others connected to you. That's why the wait is so long. The door you're about to walk through carries generational weight. It's not just about your success, it's about your assignment. It's about the people God will reach through your story, the lives that will change because of your endurance. God's openings are never just for display. They're for purpose. And I want you to understand this. The door you're waiting for is not locked. It's timed. God has not forgotten the code. He's waiting for the right moment. If He opens it too soon, what's inside could crush you. But when the time is right, no force in hell, no plan of man, no delay, and no enemy can stop what God has ordained for you. You may be in the hallway now, but the hallway is holy ground. It's where God builds your strength. It's where He tests your patience. It's where He teaches you to worship without proof, to trust without evidence, and to believe without sight. Don't despise the hallway, because that's where character is built. That's where the roots of your faith grow deep enough to sustain the weight of your blessing. Some of you have been crying, "God, open the door for me." And God is saying, "I'm opening it, but I'm opening you first." He's working inside you in your mindset, your humility, your priorities. Because when He opens the door, you can't walk in with old habits. You can't carry bitterness, pride, or fear into new territory. That's why He's been pruning you, cleansing your heart, and teaching you patience. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. The moment will come suddenly. You won't even see it coming. You'll wake up one morning and realize the season has shifted. The door will open not because you forced it, but because you were faithful. God will whisper, "Now," and everything will move. The favor that was hidden will find you. The people assigned to your destiny will appear. Opportunities that once ignored you will start seeking you. Because when God opens a door, you don't have to knock twice. It swings wide, and no power on earth can shut it. But hear me, when that door opens, walk through it with humility. Remember the hallway you came from. Don't let success make you forget the silence that built you. Don't let the applause drown out the voice that sustained you. Because the same God who opens the door can also close it if pride walks in first. Stay humble. Stay grateful. Give all glory to God. For it was not your strength, not your connections, not your effort. It was the hand of God that opened what man could not open. And to those who feel tired of waiting, to those who feel like time is slipping away, remember, delay is not denial. God doesn't operate on your clock. You are on divine time. Some doors take longer because they lead to greater rooms. Some promises require more patience because their fulfillment carries greater weight. If God is making you wait longer, it's because He's preparing something bigger than you imagined. You thought you were waiting for a door, but God is building a palace. Don't let impatience destroy your destiny. Don't try to kick open what God has locked. When you force a door, you end up in a room you weren't meant for. But when you wait on God, you walk into divine alignment. And alignment brings peace, clarity, and unstoppable favor. The same door that's been shut for years can open in a single moment when God says the word. So lift your head up, dry your tears, straighten your faith, because you are closer than you think. The door is not far away. It's just on the other side of your obedience. One more prayer, one more act of faith, one more day of endurance may be all it takes for everything to shift. Don't give up now. The hallway may be narrow, but it leads to a wide place. The darkness may feel endless, but it's only the night before your dawn. God is not silent. He's setting the stage. And when that door swings open, everything that once confused you will make sense. There will come a moment when all the waiting, all the tears, all the disappointments will feel worth it. You'll realize God was never late. He was right on time. The same God who watched you weep in private will reward you openly. The same God who allowed you to be overlooked will cause you to be honored. The same God who closed one door will open another that no one saw coming. You may have lost people. You may have lost opportunities. You may have lost time, but you have not lost God. And as long as you have God, you have not lost your future. What's behind the next door is not just restoration, it's multiplication. God never gives you back the same. He gives you back more. For every year of loss, He returns abundance. For every tear, He gives joy. For every setback, He creates a setup. The door you've been waiting for will carry everything you lost and more. But prepare yourself, because when it opens, it will require responsibility. New levels come with new tests. The blessing you've been praying for will stretch your faith even more. The key to keeping the door open is gratitude and obedience. Keep your heart clean. Keep your spirit humble. Remember who carried you when you couldn't carry yourself. And when you walk through that door, don't forget those still waiting in the hallway. Speak life to them. Tell them, I was once there too. I know how it feels to wait, to wonder, to cry. But hold on, because God is faithful. Your story will become someone's prophecy. Your endurance will inspire another soul not to give up. That's why you had to go through it, not just for you, but for someone else who will follow your path. Right now, heaven is aligning things in your favor. The key is already turning. The timing is drawing near. You can feel it in your spirit. Something is shifting. That restlessness you feel isn't frustration. It's divine transition. The waiting season is coming to an end. You've been through too much for God to leave you where you are. He didn't bring you this far to stop here. And hear me now, beloved soul. The waiting is never wasted. When it feels like every door is locked and every key you try refuses to turn, remember that God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. You are not standing in front of a wall. You are standing before divine preparation. You may not see it yet, but God is working beneath the surface, orchestrating something beyond your comprehension. While you are pacing in the hallway, wondering when the silence will break, God is writing a story that will leave you in awe. When God finally opens that door, it will not be small. It will not be average. It will not be what you expected. It will be more. Because God never gives halfway blessings. When He opens in abundance. He restores in overflow. He answers with increase. He does not bring you this far to give you crumbs when He has prepared a feast. But first, He must prepare you to handle what's on the other side. For what good is an open door if the heart walking through it is unready? What good is opportunity without endurance? There are doors God could open instantly. He has that power. But He loves you too much to bless you before you are built. You see, some doors are not blocked by the enemy. They are held shut by God's mercy. He keeps them closed until your strength, faith, and wisdom have grown enough to carry the weight of what's behind them. Because what awaits you is not just a new chapter. It's a divine assignment. An assignment requires maturity. There are people praying for things that their character cannot yet sustain. There are dreams that would turn into burdens if given too soon. That's why God hides blessings behind closed doors, not to keep them from you, but to shape you into the kind of person who can handle them. You don't want a door to open just because you're ready. You want it to open when both you and your purpose are ready. And when that alignment happens, everything you lost will come back multiplied. Sometimes the door you've been waiting for isn't a physical one. It's not always a job, a home, or a relationship. Sometimes it's a door within, a breakthrough in your mind, peace in your spirit, healing in your heart. Because God knows that the greatest door is not the one you walk through, but the one that opens inside of you. Before He changes your situation, He will change your perception. Before He brings you out, He will bring revelation in. Because you cannot enter new places with old thinking. And that's why this waiting season feels like fire. Because it is God burning away the doubts, the fears, the attachments, and the pride. He's purifying your intentions. He's refining your motives. He's testing whether you want the blessing more than the one who gives it. Because the open door is sacred. It's not meant for ego, but for purpose. When you walk through, it's not to say, "Look what I have," but to say, "Look what God has done." There are also times when God closes one door so tightly that you feel crushed by it. But remember, the same hand that shuts is the same hand that blesses. If He closes something, it's because there is something better beyond it. That closed door is not rejection, it's redirection. Sometimes God removes your comfort so that you will pursue His calling. Sometimes He takes away what you think you need to show you that He alone is enough. So if you've been praying for a door to open and it hasn't, don't lose hope. Change your perspective. Ask God, "What are you teaching me here? What are you preparing me for?" Because the waiting room of God is a classroom. Every delay carries a lesson. Every silence is an invitation to listen deeper. God often teaches in whispers. He shapes you not through comfort, but through stillness. You see, when you stop striving to make the door open by force, you make room for God's power to flow. He doesn't need your panic. He needs your patience. He doesn't need your worry. He needs your worship. Because panic closes spiritual doors, but praise opens them. When you praise God in the hallway, you prove that your faith isn't dependent on outcomes. It's anchored in trust. And I tell you this with full conviction. The moment you truly surrender, the moment you stop trying to force timing, that's when things begin to move. Because surrender is the highest form of strength. It is not giving up, it is giving over. Giving the key back to God and saying, "You open it when it's right." And when you do that, He will open it better, wider, and stronger than you ever could. There are blessings that only open for the humble. Pride keeps doors locked. Impatience jams the hinges. But humility attracts the hand of God. When you stay humble, grateful, and faithful, God takes pleasure in opening what was once sealed. Because He knows you will use that open door not for selfish gain, but for His glory. Now listen carefully. Sometimes God tests your readiness by sending you small doors first. A small opportunity, a small breakthrough, a quiet answer. Don't despise small openings. What begins as little often grows into something great. If you can walk faithfully through small doors, God will trust you with larger ones. If you can handle being faithful in obscurity, you are being prepared for visibility. And maybe, just maybe, the reason your big door hasn't opened yet is because God wants to see how you handle the small one. Will you still be diligent when no one is watching? Will you still be kind when no one thanks you? Will you still be faithful in the unnoticed seasons? Because those unseen acts of obedience are the keys that unlock the greater doors. Every person God ever elevated had to wait. Every soul destined for greatness walked through long corridors of silence. The weight humbles you, strengthens you, and teaches you to depend on God instead of yourself. If God opened every door instantly, we would never grow deep roots. We would never learn the patience that sustains blessings once we have them. So don't curse the delay, bless it. Thank God for the time it takes, because He's using it to build something within you that cannot be shaken when the door finally opens. What's coming is not fragile. It's not temporary. It's not man-made. It's divine. And divine things take divine timing. There will be a moment when everything clicks. The doors that were locked for years will suddenly swing open. And people will wonder, how did it happen so fast? But you'll know it didn't happen fast. It was years in the making, years of unseen faith, quiet endurance, and silent battles. It just looks sudden because God makes preparation look like overnight success. You've been hidden on purpose. God hides His strongest soldiers until the battlefield is ready. He hides His brightest lights until the darkness is deep enough to need them. That's why you feel unseen, because you're being preserved for a time when your presence will have maximum impact. Don't mistake hiding for rejection. Hidden doesn't mean forgotten. It means protected. And when your door opens, it won't require effort. It will flow. You won't have to force connections or beg for opportunities. Everything will align with divine ease, because what's meant for you won't pass you by. You won't have to chase what's yours. It will recognize your obedience and come looking for you. So don't stop now. You are on the edge of breakthrough. The door is closer than you think. You may not hear the key turning, but it's turning. God is about to surprise you. He's about to take you from waiting to walking, from hoping to having, from knocking to entering. And when it happens, let your first words be gratitude. Don't forget the hallway prayers once the door opens. Keep your heart bowed before God, because gratitude keeps doors open that pride would otherwise close. God is preparing to elevate you, but He will not open the door until you are ready to handle the altitude. And when He does, it will not just change your life. It will change your lineage. It will open new possibilities for those who come after you. Because your faith today is opening doors for generations tomorrow. There comes a moment in every life when God begins to shift the atmosphere around you. And if you're sensitive enough, you can feel it in your spirit. The air feels different. The same places that once felt comfortable begin to feel small. The same routines that once satisfied you suddenly lose their meaning. That, my friend, is a divine signal. The quiet whisper that your door is near. God begins to stir discomfort, not to hurt you, but to move you. When a seed is planted in the soil, it must break before it can rise. You are in that breaking season, not because God abandoned you, but because He is preparing you to sprout. And when the moment comes, the door that God opens will not just release opportunity, it will reveal identity. You will finally understand why the pain had to happen, why the people had to leave, and why the wait had to be long. The door will explain the delay, because God's ways are not your ways, and His timing is not your timing. What feels like a setback is often divine choreography. You thought you were behind, but God says you're right on schedule. Every closed path, every lonely night, every unanswered prayer was leading you to the exact position where this new door could meet you. You see, if God had opened that door before your heart was humbled, pride would have poisoned the promise. If He had given you what you prayed for when you first asked, you might have worshiped the blessing instead of the one who gave it. So He hid it not to torment you, but to protect you from yourself. He wanted you to learn that true peace isn't found in having everything, but in trusting Him with everything. Because only when you no longer crave control can you carry God's calling with integrity. Now listen to me carefully. Sometimes before God opens your door, He will let everything else fall apart. He will let the familiar crumble so that you have no choice but to depend on Him. You'll reach a point where the only option left is faith. That's not punishment. That's purification. When God removes your safety nets, it's because He's about to teach you how to fly. He will not let you stay tied to things that limit your wings. The people who left you, the jobs that ended, the opportunities that disappeared, they weren't losses. They were lifters. They were pulling you higher toward purpose. And the door you are about to walk through, it's not just a new chapter, it's a new dimension. You won't just enter, you will ascend. You will walk in clarity you never had before. The confusion that clouded your vision will lift. You will begin to see that every disappointment was divine direction, every delay was divine development, and every heartbreak was divine healing. God was never ignoring you, He was transforming you. When that door finally opens, you'll walk into a space that reflects who you've become. Because God doesn't respond to what you request, He responds to what you're ready to carry. That's why the waiting felt so weighty. It was strengthening your spirit to sustain the coming glory. There are doors reserved only for the faithful, never the fearful. Only those who have trusted God in the storm can stand in His sunlight without fear. You've endured enough darkness to embrace the brilliance that's ahead. You've cried enough tears to recognize the joy that's approaching. But hear this truth, not every open door comes from God. Some are traps wrapped as opportunities. Some are diversions masked as blessings. That's why discernment is vital. Before stepping through, pause and ask God, is this truly from you? Because when it's divine, it won't demand that you sacrifice your peace. When it's divine, it won't lead you away from holiness. When it's divine, the path may be narrow, but your soul will expand with peace. The peace of God is the signpost of His will. If you have to lose your integrity to enter, it's not your door. And when it is your door, everything about it will confirm it. The timing will align. The provision will appear. The resistance will fall. And your soul will recognize this is it. You won't have to beg. You won't have to force. You won't have to chase. God's doors don't need manipulation. They open through manifestation. And when they open naturally, powerfully, undeniably. So prepare yourself. God does not pour new wine into old vessels. He will not open a new door to someone still clinging to past pain, old grudges, or yesterday's mindset. You cannot carry the bitterness of your last season into the brightness of your next. Forgive, release, and rise. Let go of what tried to destroy you, because what's coming will heal you. Don't let the poison of the past pollute the promise ahead. The same hands that broke you are not the hands that will bless you. God Himself will restore what was lost in His way in His time. You are standing in the threshold of transformation. The key that opens your next door is not in your hand, it's in your heart. It's your faith, your patience, your surrender, your unwavering belief that God can do the impossible. Doors don't open for the impatient, they open for the prepared. The question isn't when will God open it, it's will you be ready when He does. When the door opens, you won't have time to get ready. You must be ready. That's why He's been refining you now. That's why He's been stretching your faith enlarging your capacity and testing your obedience. The hallway has been your preparation ground. The tears were your training. The silence was your schooling. You've been in divine boot camp, learning endurance, humility, and discipline. Because on the other side of that door, you won't just survive, you will lead. And don't forget, when you walk through your door, walk softly and do not carry arrogance. Remember the valley that made you. Remember the nights that broke you. Remember the God who sustained you. For the door is not the destination. It's the beginning of a greater journey. The blessing is not the end. It's the assignment. You've been chosen not just to enter, but to serve, to inspire, to build, to uplift. God is not merely opening a door for you to prosper. He is opening a door for you to fulfill purpose. This is not about status. It's about service. It's not about being seen. It's about being sent. When God elevates you, it's not for applause. It's for impact. He raises you so you can raise others. He blesses you so you can become a blessing. The true test of the open door is how you treat others once you've walked through it. Will you extend your hand back to those still waiting? Or will you close the door behind you? Let your success become someone else's seed of hope. Let your breakthrough become someone's testimony that God is still faithful. Speak to the ones who are weary. Remind them that their door is also on the way, because God doesn't run out of openings. He has infinite doors, infinite ways, infinite possibilities. If He did it for one, He can do it for another. If He opened for them, He can open for you. The key is faith that refuses to die in the hallway. Listen closely, beloved, for this is the moment where understanding must meet action. When God opens a door, it is not merely a physical threshold. It is a divine invitation to step into purpose, to embrace destiny, and to walk in the fullness of what He has been preparing you for. Many will see your door open and call it luck. Others will see it and call it coincidence. But you who have waited in the silence, who have trusted when trust was hard, who have worshiped when no blessing was in sight, you will know it is God alone who made the way. And you must walk through with the confidence that nothing in heaven or on earth can take what He has ordained for you. Do not enter hastily. Do not rush. The open door is sacred ground. It is a place where faith meets fruition. You have been standing outside, praying, believing, and enduring. But now God is asking you to step boldly. Boldness is not arrogance. Boldness is obedience. Boldness is not presumption. It is trust. When you walk through this door, it must be with the courage of one who knows that God goes before them, that every step is guided, and that every challenge is already accounted for. Prepare your spirit to receive more than you ever imagined. The blessings behind this door are not just additions to your life. They are transformations. They will challenge old habits, expand old thinking, and stretch you beyond your comfort zone. God does not give His greatest gifts to the passive. He gives them to those who are ready to take responsibility, to steward what has been entrusted, and to walk with integrity. This is why patience has been essential. The delay was not denial. It was preparation. God was equipping you to carry what is coming. Understand this clearly. When you step through, expect resistance not from God, but from the forces that sought to delay your destiny. Enemies of peace, fear, doubt, and distraction will attempt to test your grip on faith. Do not fear them, for the God who opens doors is the same God who sustains those who walk through them. You will face challenges, yes, but every trial beyond this door will be a testament, a confirmation that God's power is made perfect in your obedience. The open door is a battlefield where faith triumphs over fear. Hope conquers despair, and divine promise outweighs human limitation. And let me remind you, your door is unique. No one else can enter it for you. No one else has the combination, the preparation, or the divine timing that God has aligned specifically for your life. Stop looking at others' doors. Stop comparing, questioning, or envying. Each person has a season, and God's timing is always perfect. What He has for you is not delayed. It is precisely orchestrated. And when He opens it, you will see the wisdom in every moment of waiting, the purpose in every tear, and the divine precision of His plan. Do not carry the weight of fear into this new season. Fear is the thief that steals the joy of God's promises. If you walk through with fear, you limit what God can do in you and through you. Step boldly, for boldness honors God. Step confidently, for confidence in Him is your shield. Step expectantly, for expectation aligned with faith attracts divine manifestation. God does not open doors for timid heart. He opens them for hearts that are ready to receive, hearts that have been purified, hearts that have trusted beyond the visible. And remember this, every blessing behind the door will require action. Do not mistake waiting for passivity. Waiting in faith is active. It is prayer. It is persistence. It is preparation. When God opens, He opens for those who are ready to move, not for those who hesitate. Your hands must be willing to work. Your heart must be willing to lead. And your spirit must be willing to serve. The open door is not an end. It is a divine beginning. And beginnings are where destiny takes root, where legacy is planted, and where influence is born. The God who opens doors also equips the person who enters. You will not step through unarmed. Your mind will be sharpened with clarity. Your heart will be strengthened with courage. Your spirit will be flooded with discernment. You will see things you could not see before, understand truths you could not grasp before, and walk paths you could not imagine before. The open door is not only an opportunity, it is enlightenment. God will illuminate your way, and nothing in darkness can overcome what is illuminated by His power. Do not forget the purpose behind your persistence. God's timing has been preparing not just the door, but you, your character, your faith, and your vision. You are being positioned to not only receive, but to multiply, to influence, and to inspire. The same God who has been faithful in the shadows will be faithful in the spotlight. He will not only bless you, but will use you as a conduit of blessing for others. The door is never open for selfish gain. It is open for divine impact. And as you step through, leave the old behind. Leave the pain, the disappointment, the fears, and the regrets. Do not carry yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's blessing. God opens doors so that we can move forward, not so that we can drag the past into the future. The new season requires a new mindset, a renewed spirit, and a heart that trusts fully in God. Walk in freedom, walk in faith, walk in expectation, and walk with gratitude. Understand the magnitude of what is coming. The open door is a declaration of God's faithfulness. It is a testimony to your endurance. It is a confirmation that prayers prayed in silence, tears shed in privacy, and faith exercised in darkness have not gone unnoticed. God is about to turn waiting into witnessing, longing into living and hope into harvest. The door is not just an opening. It is an altar of fulfillment, a stage of destiny, and a gateway to God's glory. So, beloved, as you stand on the threshold, lift your eyes and lift your heart. Step forward boldly and humbly, confidently and reverently. For the God who opens doors is the God who sustains your every step. He will guide you, protect you, and prosper you. He will honor your faith, magnify your obedience, and bless your endurance. And when the door is fully open, when the blessings flow, and when your heart overflows, you will know beyond a shadow of doubt that it was God alone who made the way. The waiting season will fade. The hallway will be behind you, and you will walk into a life that has been perfectly aligned, divinely timed, and richly blessed by the hand of God. Nothing in this world, no force in heaven or on earth, can stop what God has ordained for you. His promise is alive, His power is real, His favor is yours. And the door you've been waiting for, oh, it is about to open. And when it does, everything that was meant for you will come rushing in with unstoppable force. Hold firm, keep trusting, keep preparing, keep believing. For the hand of God is on the door, and the moment of your breakthrough is nearer than you think. The season of waiting is ending. The season of receiving is beginning. Step through with faith. Step through with courage, and step through with the full assurance that God Himself has opened the way for you. And now, beloved, hear this final word with all the intensity and clarity of truth. God is faithful. He is sovereign. He is the author of your story, the keeper of your destiny, and the one who alone holds the keys to every door you have prayed for. Every moment of waiting, every trial endured, every tear shed in silence, it has all been preparation for this very season. The door you have longed for, the opportunity you have hungered after, the breakthrough you have cried out for, it is not a dream. It is a divine promise. Step through boldly, for the hand that opens is the same hand that sustains. Walk with courage, for the God who prepared the way has already gone before you. Walk forward with confidence, for His plans never falter, His timing never fails, and His power knows no limit. As you step into this new chapter, remember, it was your faith that sustained you, your endurance that prepared you, and your trust in God that brought you to the edge of your destiny. Do not turn back. Do not waver. Do not let fear, uncertainty, or pride stand between you and what God has designed for you. Lift your eyes, open your heart, and raise your hands in thanksgiving. For this open door is not merely an opportunity. It is a living proof of God's faithfulness, a revelation of His strength, and a proclamation of His glory. As you walk through, let your life declare that God is real, that He is righteous, and that He honors those who wait in steadfast faith. The door stands open, the path has been prepared, and the God who promised you will never fail. Step boldly, beloved, and claim the fullness of everything heaven has arranged for you. His timing is flawless, His provision overflowing, and His favor will pursue you all the days of your life. The waiting has ended. The breakthrough has arrived. The door is open, and it is God Himself who has cleared the way.